An hour later, you're exhausted. You've somehow gotten nowhere, and you can't even remember what the original point was. That's the strangest part. You started with one clear, simple thing, and the conversation just sprawled. Every time you got close to the point, it slid sideways and into something from 3 years ago, into a technicality about a word you used, into their feelings, into a completely different topic, into a contradiction that made your head hurt. You kept chasing it, trying to pin it down, and it kept squirting away. And now you're worn out and no closer to anything. If that's familiar, you've met a tactic called word salad, and it's not a communication problem. It's the conversational version of a fog machine. Today, what word salad is, why it's so exhausting, and how to stop chasing your own tail inside it. Naming it is how you find the exit. The careful note first, I'm not diagnosing anyone. Plenty of people are just scattered or bad at staying on topic with no agenda at all. Word salad as a tactic is different. It's confusion used on purpose to wear you down and avoid ever landing on the point. We're spotting a behavior, not labeling a person. Here's the mechanism, and it's almost clever. A straightforward conversation has a destination. You're trying to resolve something, reach a point, get an answer. Word salad works by making sure you never arrive. Every path to the point gets flooded with so many detours, contradictions, topic changes, and technicalities that the destination disappears in the noise. And here's the trick. It doesn't have to make sense to work. In fact, the less sense it makes, the better, because you'll burn even more energy trying to untangle it. Energy that's no longer going toward your actual point. So, here's the one thing I want you to carry out of this video. Word salad isn't a failed attempt to communicate. It's a successful attempt to not communicate while keeping you busy enough that you don't notice. Once you see that, the exhaustion makes sense. You've been treating it like a puzzle to solve, and if I can just address every point, we'll get somewhere. But it was never a puzzle. It was a treadmill, and you can run on a treadmill all night and never reach the door. Let me name what it actually looks like so you can catch it. The first flavor is the topic avalanche. You raise one thing, they respond with six, an old grievance, a change of subject, well, what about when you, a tangent, and now you're playing whack-a-mole, and your one clean point is buried under a pile. The second is the circular loop. You go around and end up exactly where you started, having agreed on nothing, with the strange sense that you've had this exact conversation before and will have it again. The third is contradiction that won't hold still. They say one thing, then the opposite, then deny saying either, so there's nothing solid to respond to. Every time you grab the point, it changes shape in your hands. So how do you get out of the maze? The first defense is to recognize you're in it and stop chasing. This alone changes everything. The moment you notice the sprawl, the topics multiplying, the point receding, a calm voice says, this isn't going anywhere and it isn't supposed to. You stop trying to address every thread because chasing the threads is the trap. You're not being a quitter. You're refusing to keep running the treadmill. The second defense is the broken record. Pick your one point and return to it unchanged no matter what gets thrown. That's a separate thing. The question I asked was X. They avalanche. You calmly repeat X. They loop. You calmly repeat X. You don't chase the detours. Don't defend the technicalities. Don't take the bait of the old grievance. One post in the ground and you keep coming back to it. Either the real point eventually gets addressed or it becomes very clear that it never will. And both of those are useful to know. The third defense is to end it cleanly when it's clearly going nowhere. You're allowed to step out of the maze. It seems like we're not going to resolve this right now, so I'm going to stop here. Not angry, not a slammed door, just a calm exit from a conversation engineered to be endless. You don't owe anyone infinite laps. Ending a pointless conversation isn't rude. It's refusing to be exhausted on purpose. Now let me be honest about the hard part. Stepping out of word salad can feel like giving up or like you're the one being difficult for not engaging with everything they raised. That feeling is the tactic working on you one more time. Refusing to chase a fog is not the same as refusing to communicate. Real communication has a destination. If there's clearly no destination available no matter what you do, staying isn't noble. It's just tiring. And the line, plainly, if these no-win conversations are constant, if you can never get a straight answer or resolve anything, and you come away drained and confused every time, that ongoing pattern is corrosive and can be part of a larger controlling dynamic. Real confidential help exists. For immediate emotional crisis, call or text 988. For domestic violence support, call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233, text START to 88788, or visit thehotline.org. So the next time a conversation starts to sprawl and you feel yourself getting tired and lost, stop. Notice the fog. Pick your one point, return to it calmly, and if it's clearly going nowhere, walk out of the maze. You are never going to solve a puzzle that was built to have no solution. And remember, this is education, not therapy, and not a diagnosis of anyone, just a way to find the exit. If any of these tactics have helped you name something you couldn't name before, that's the whole point of this channel. Pick one, watch for it this week, and notice how much less power it has once you can see it coming. Subscribe and I'll keep them coming, one tactic at a time.